Good day, Doc Vigante and our fellow MBA students. Today, we will be discussing the chapter 4, which is the social and ethical concerns relating to information systems. I will be reporting together with Mom Baby Sal Catibog and yours truly, Angel Faye Marie Catublas. First, we have to define why ethics matters in IT. Information systems make many tasks easier and faster, but they also introduce new risks. As technology becomes part of every business process, people and organizations gain power to collect, store, and use vast amounts of data. This creates ethical challenges like privacy invasion, data misuse, digital manipulation, and unequal access to technology. In short, the same tools that help innovation can also be abused if not managed responsibly. Information technology always has an impact. It can help society progress or be misused for harm, such as cybercrime or surveillance. Because of this, managers are responsible for ensuring that the system they use or build are applied ethically and for positive purposes. Recent corporate scandals demonstrate that while IT departments did not orchestrate fraud, information systems were central to concealing unethical decisions from regulators and the public. Under U.S. federal sentencing guidelines of 1987, executives who violate the law face mandatory prison time based on the financial scale and concealment of their crimes. The ripple effect model introduces an analogy of a stone thrown into a steel pan. When technology disrupts society, it creates ripples across three interconnected levels. The first one is the individual or ethics. This means deciding for yourself how to use technology responsibly by choosing what is right or wrong based on your own moral values. Second is the community or social. This refers to the shared rules and expectations a group develops about how to use technology, which gradually change as new tools appear and people adapt their behavior and institutions to them. Third is the government or political. This means formal rules made by governments that set clear standards for how technology can be used, but these rules are usually created after new technologies have already emerged and spread. Next is the five moral dimensions of information system. These are the five core areas where ethical tensions arises. First is information rights and obligation, which refers to what data about people can be collected, how it can be used, and what privacy rights individuals should have. Second is the property rights and obligation, which refers to how fairly protect and respect digital content and creations when they can be copied so easily. Third is the accountability and control, refers to who is responsible when technology causes harm and how we identify and enforce that responsibility. Fourth is system quality, which refers to ensuring systems and data are accurate, secure, and reliable enough to avoid harming users or society. Fifth is the quality of life, refers to how technology affects daily life, work, health, freedom, and what social values we want to protect as tech changes society. Technology trends driving ethical concerns. There are four technology trends that amplify these ethical challenges. First is the computing power doubling. Businesses rely heavily on powerful systems, but there are no universal rules to ensure these systems are always safe and reliable. Second is the cheap, massive data storage. Companies can easily store huge amounts of personal data, so collecting and keeping your information and misusing it is very cheap. Third is the advanced data analytics and profiling. By linking data from many sources, cards, phones, web, or government, and organizations can build very detailed profiles about people, raising serious privacy risks. Lastly, is the ubiquitous networking. While the internet makes it extremely easy and cheap to move and analyze data globally, which also makes large scale remote surveillance and much easier. How to analyze ethical dilemmas in a five-step process. The first one is to identify the facts, which means to clearly understand what happened, who was involved, and how it occurred. Second, define the conflict. This one is when you pinpoint what important values are clashing, like privacy versus efficiency or security versus freedom. Third is identify stakeholders, which lists everyone who is affected and what they care about. Fourth is to evaluate options. This refers when you to think realistic actions you could take and compare which are more fair or responsible. And lastly is to assess consequences. This refers when you ask what would happen if this choice were repeated by everyone in similar situations. The six ethical principles for decision making. These principles, drawn from centuries of moral philosophy, serve as a candidate code of ethics. For the golden rule, it explains that we have to treat others the way we want to be treated and imagine ourselves in their place. The stand categorical imperative principle explains that it would be wrong for everyone to do something. It is wrong for you to do it. The Descartes rule of change explains that if an action would cause problems, if repeated many times, you should not do it even once. The utilitarian principle explains to choose the option that gives the most overall benefit to the most people. While the risk aversion principle explains that when in doubt, pick the option that risks the least harm, especially if failure would be very serious. Lastly, the no free lunch rule explains that we have to assume all valuable things belong to someone. If we use or gain from their work, they should be rewarded also. Privacy in the Internet age. Privacy is the most extensively covered ethical dimensions, and the key points are the Fair Information Practices, or the FIP, has a basic rules for privacy, which tell people what data you collect, let them choose, let them see or correct it, or keep it secure and enforce these rules. The COPPA 1998, which states that websites must get a parent's permission before collecting data from kids under 13. The next one is the HIPAA 1996, which protects health records and lets patients access their medical information. The Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act of 1999 requires bank and financial firms to protect customer data and offers some opt-out choices. And the last one is the EU Data Protection Directive, which is much stricter, and people must clearly agree to data use, can access and fix their data, and data cannot be sent to countries with weak privacy rules. On the lower left shows how online tracking works. The cookies are small files on your device that remember what you do online, used for tracking and personalization. Second is the super cookies or flash cookies, which are more persistent trackers that are harder to delete and often installed without clear consent. Third is the web beacons, which are invisible tags in pages or emails that record you opened or clicked something. Big websites can place thousands of tracking tools across users, creating large-scale surveillance of browsing behavior. On the lower right side are the opt-in versus opt-out debate. The opt-out, which is a US model, companies track you by default and you must take action to stop it. The opt-in, or the EU privacy advocates, companies cannot track or collect data unless you clearly agree first. And the other one was do not track. A browser signal asking sites not to track you, but most sites are not required to honor it and many users never enable it. For the real world ethical dilemmas, this highlights everyday tensions where competing interests collide. Automation versus employment. Tools like voice recognition and AI make work faster and cheaper, but they also remove human jobs. The employee monitoring versus privacy. Companies track staff emails and web use to protect productivity and security, but workers expect some personal privacy at work. While the data monetization versus consumer rights are platforms such as Facebook earn money by tracking users and selling data-based ads, often without users fully understanding what is happening. These dilemmas rarely have perfect answers. Applying the five-step ethical analysis framework helps find responsible compromise. Managers must balance these competing interests using a structured ethical process to reach the most responsible compromise available. And that ends my report. The next topic will be discussed by my partner, Ma'am Catibog.
Good day, everyone. I am Baby Sal Catibog, and I'm here to continue our report about social and ethical concerns relating to information systems. To continue, let me first define what is intellectual property. So it refers to creations of the mind, such as inventions, designs, and artistic works. These are protected by law to ensure that creators can benefit from their work and to encourage innovation. In the digital world, protecting intellectual property is more important than ever. We have four types of intellectual property. First is the trade secrets. Trade secrets covers confidential business information not available to the public. So example is the secret formula of a famous drink. So they kept it secret to further protection. Then next is the copyright. Copyright protects creative works of authorship. Like for example, the novel, song, painting, or film. Then patent. So it protects new inventions and technical solutions. It covers machines, devices, processes. Example is new type of smartphone technology. Then lastly, we have the trademark. It protects business identity in the market. And it covers the brand names, logos, slogans, trade dress. Example, the logo of Starbucks or Nike and their brand name. So those are the four types of intellectual property. The different kinds of rights for different kinds of creations and innovations. Next, we have the major issues and challenges of intellectual property in the digital age. It shows why protecting ideas, creations, and innovations has become more difficult today. First is the ease of replication. Digital content can be copied quickly without losing quality. Next, we have the ease of transmission. Files can be shared worldwide in seconds. Number three, ease of alteration. Content can be easily edited or modified. Next, difficulty in classification. It's hard to categorize software. Is it a book, program, or music? Then number five, we have the compactness. Large data can be stored in small devices, making theft easier. And lastly, we have difficulty proving uniqueness. It's hard to prove originality due to similar existing works. So the main point here is that because of technology, intellectual property is more vulnerable. So there is a need for strong protection, awareness, and ethical responsibility. Let's proceed with equity, access, and boundaries in quality of life. It shows how information systems impact society. So first is balancing power, center versus periphery. Technology has shifted power with big companies controlling large amounts of personal data, creating new forms of power imbalance. Next, rapidity of change, reduce response time to competition. Information systems make markets faster and more competitive, leaving companies with less time to respond and increasing pressure in a just-in-time lifestyle. Third, we have the maintaining boundaries, family, work, and leisure. So technology enables working anytime and anywhere, but it can blur boundaries, reduce social interaction, and weaken family and social support system. That was the sad reality that is truly happening to us. Next, we have the dependence and vulnerability. Society is highly dependent on information systems, and system failures can cause major disruptions due to lack of strong standards, backup systems, and regulation. And lastly, computer crime and abuse. The rise of cybercrime consists of data theft, hacking, phishing, malware, leads to significant financial losses and security risks. To summarize, information systems bring both benefits and challenges, making accountability and responsible use essential for improving quality of life. Computer crime and abuse. Computer abuse refers to unethical actions that may not be illegal. For example, spam emails cause economic loss and security risks. This shows that not all harmful behavior is covered by law. We also have the employment issues. Technology and automation are reducing the need for certain jobs. Some believe new jobs will emerge, while others fear long term unemployment. Retraining workers is a major challenge. Equity and access, increasing racial and social class cleavages, or what we call the digital divide. So, not everyone has equal access to technology. This creates a digital divide between those who have access and those who do not. And as a result, technology can increase social inequality. Last topic is about the health risk. It consists of repetitive stress injury or RSI, the CTS, which is carpal tunnel syndrome, also the CVS, computer vision syndrome, and techno stress. So let's start with repetitive stress injury or RSI. A common occupational problem caused by repetitive movements, poor posture, and overuse. So it affects muscles, tendons, and nerves, leading to pain and discomfort. Next, the carpal tunnel syndrome, or CTS. This is a specific type of RSI where pressure on the median nerve in the wrist causes pain, numbness, tingling, and weakness in the hands and fingers. Then, computer vision syndrome, or CVS. Eye strain from long hours in front of screens, resulting in dry eyes, blurred vision, headaches, and fatigue. Lastly, the technostress. This is the stress related to constant use of technology caused by information overload, continuous connectivity, tight deadlines, and complex systems. So, while technology is useful, excessive and improper use can harm physical and mental health. Preventive habits like proper posture, regular breaks, eye care 2020 rule, ergonomic tools, and stress management are very essential. So, that ends our report about um, the social and ethical concerns in information systems. Thank you and God bless.